Hello, welcome to episode one of E's Open Mic. And you're wondering, why E? Well, that's what my dad used to call me. I guess Eric wasn't short enough for him, so he used to call me E, Big E, or something like that. So that is pretty much our first topic today, my father. And the reason why I'm doing this video podcast is to bring awareness to mental health because it's a real thing, and I've really found that out in the last couple of years, and it's how it can affect people in their everyday life. And I like to bring awareness to it. Let's not. I just don't want to do it once a year, and that's great. They have a month for it, but I think we need to bring more attention to it because it's a real thing. So starting off with a story, my dad was born born July 6th of 1959. John Eric Lonis out of Maryville, Tennessee, or Maryville. Dad was a good man. He started off as a working in a grocery store, worked himself up to a manager. He was a manager for a while of Bi-Lo, Red Food, whatever time it was called at that moment, and he worked himself up to he decided to stop doing that because if you ever worked in retail or any kind like that or management wise, you know it really takes up your time and you're pretty much there a lot. So he decided to get a sales job at a copier and printer place here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he enjoyed that job. He was a good salesman. He was a people person. He had charisma, and hopefully I get that too because I like to make sure I help out my customers where I'm at, and I hope I got a little bit of charisma. But where do we start? Like I said, yes, July 11th. Before that, my dad was going through some complications from his triple bypass from his heart attack he had, and he started getting weak to the point where he couldn't go back to work. He was working at Lowe's at that time. Met a lot of great people there. He made great friends there, and he was having complications. And before the 11th, we were talking. I went to hang out with him. I visited my dad a lot. I wish I did a lot more than I thought. A lot more because I miss him very much. Because we loved college football together. That was our thing. College football. And he knew I was a big sports fan. He said I got it from his dad, Hoyt Lonis. Yeah, you don't hear that name much very often. Hoyt Lonis. My grandfather, who I used to sit in his lap and watch sports with him. My dad would always tell me stories about that. I would sit in his lap, watch sports with him. I love sports. My dad, me and him loved college football together. I told him I was going to be a comedian. I mean, I'm going to do comedy. He came to my first show, and dude, to say he was a nervous wreck would be an understatement. He was pacing, he was worrying, he was praying that everything would go well, and it went well. But he didn't come to very many shows because his nerves couldn't really handle it because he didn't want no one to say anything and mess with his son. Because that's why my dad was. He didn't want you to mess with his family. If you mess with his family, he gets angry, and it takes a lot for my dad to get angry. He's laid back like me. We have that in common. He's also tall. He was 6'3". So, and I'm not even close to that. So, thanks, Dad. Yeah, I just think this guy, I'm about 5'10", 5'9" on a good day and trying to play basketball. Yeah. But yeah, before the 11th, we would hang out, watch movies. Our last movie we saw together was at his house. I don't know if I say this title right. It's a Mark Wahlberg movie about him becoming a preacher. It was called Father Soup. I've got to double check that, but that's the last movie we saw together. He was that or Morbius in that movie. In Morbius, I never heard anything good about it, and I didn't want my last movie to see. Well, the movie I wanted to see with him, I did not want to see Morbius, and I am a comic book guy. Um, but the day of July 11th of 2022 is the day that I will never forget because I was in I was working in a Highway 58 store that I worked the company I work for, and we were just started open that morning, and it was a nice morning, and I got a phone call from his girlfriend. His girlfriend tells me that it's not looking good, and there's a chance because they were about to transfer him from Hickson Memorial to downtown Memorial, so it didn't look good for him. So they're going to try to transfer him and get him in the main one. Well, I got off the phone. There was enough people there, so I said, "Hey guys, I'm gotta leave. There's a situation with my father, and I am going to leave." And there was a person there that was able to take charge of the store and watch over it and take care of the vehicles when it came in. So on my way there, I called all my bosses, from my area manager, from my store manager, let them know what's going on, and they said, "Go do what you got to do. I understand completely." And as this moment, my emotions are all over the place. I am, it's floodgates. And I called my mom. My mom and my dad haven't probably been together in over 30 years. My mom started to, they jumped in the car to come to the hospital with me. Well, I got to the hospital, and they even beat the ambulances there, and they got a siren. And I thought they would know the routes better than I do. Well, I beat him there, and he made it. He made it. So when I was sitting, because I got in there, I was Oh, I forgot one part of the story. Let's rewind a little bit. When I made it to the other Memorial Hospital in Hickson, I did happen to walk in, and like I said, my emotions were all over the place, and I was trying to collect myself so I could see my dad without being an emotional wreck. I didn't want my dad to see me that way. So I got up to the room. I can picture it now. The door was there. I turned to the corner, and they were getting him on the stretcher to put him in the ambulance. And the first thing I said when I walked in, I go, "Hey, is he starting any trouble?" And they laughed. And nurses laughed. My dad laughed, looked at me, and goes, "E." That's why I call it E. He's open mic. I walked up to him, gave me a fist bump. And I had to get out of the way because they were trying to transfer him to one place or another. I grabbed his stuff. They had me his stuff. And as my dad got wheeled around the corner to the hallway, he looked at me and rolled his eyes and I go, "Here we go. When's this ever going to end?" And they transferred him. And like I said, I beat him to the hospital in downtown. Motion still, yeah. But I was able to see my dad, and the last thing I said to him was E. When I was sitting in the hospital, and if anybody knows me, I feel like I need to be in a situation. I need to be productive. I need to be able to help. I want to help. But there's nothing I can do. I was sitting there going, just looking around going, what do I do next? My father is sitting in the hospital right now, getting cut open to see what the problem is. Because he code blue the night before while he was sleeping. He code blue. He code blue the night before, and he was at the hospital getting cut open. My mom showed up, And I first time I cried on my mom's shoulders and since I was a child. And finally, the nurses came, got me. They put us in a room so the doctor can talk to us. It's a little. It went down a hallway. It was to the right. It was a not an examining room, but it was like I'm trying to figure the name of it. It's a room where they put you so they can talk to you, a consulting room or whatever it is. I might have said that wrong. Consulting room. Wow. Okay. But we were in there. Me and my mom. We were talking. And the doctor came in. The gentleman started explaining what they were trying to do and what was going on. What happened was there's a valve right here that was causing to be clogged again. Well, they were having trouble with it, so they were going to replace it. And if that wasn't going to help, they're going to transfer him to Vanderbilt. And this is where my mind went. If you were iffy about him coming from Nashville, going from Hickson to Chattanooga, and I know a helicopter, and if y'all take a helicopter, I know it's fast, but it never went that far. As he was explaining to us, the announcement over the PA said that there was a code blue in a certain room, and that was my father. So he went to go do his thing to try to get my dad back ticking. And once again, I was in the room with my mom, and I was basically praying, hoping and wishing, pacing back and forth. My emotions were from we got this, they got this, to what's going to happen or what's going on. Just a lot of things going through my head. But as he came back to the room, he sat down, he looked straight down. I looked down and go, that's not good. And he told me he lost him. That they lost him. And that's where the emotions really came out, to the point where I was, yeah, you know what I mean. He died on July 11th. That's 6 days after his 63rd birthday. He was in a relationship and had a great bond and closeness to these dogs that he lived with. He loved dogs. He loved animals. He loved dogs. I think he loved dogs more than he loved humans sometimes. And I can understand that. Dogs and animals can be very forgiving, warm, and stuff like that. And they're not full of crap. After they wrote the news to me, I had to make phone calls to figure out what to do with him. Because his wish was to go to the body farm in Knoxville, Tennessee, because he wanted to donate it to science. My dad really believed in that because he, when I was a kid, this is an important story. My dad had cancer. He had Hodgkin's disease in the late 80s and kind of 90s. And if you didn't know anything about cancer, this is before the research was the way it was, before it was now. It was just night and day difference. He had Hodgkin's disease. He had one lung removed. And I will never forget this. Because my dad actually looked at me before he passed, 2 weeks before he passed, and said, son, I do apologize that you were around watching me go through cancer. And I was up and honest with him. I looked him straight in the eye and goes, Dad, If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the man I am now. Because when I was a child and watching him go through all this stuff, seeing him laying in the bathroom, sleeping because he couldn't make it to the bathroom, to the bed fast enough without getting sick because of the chemo. I made a vow while standing in that doorway in Chattanooga, Tennessee, that that I'll never do drugs or alcohol. And back then, that's where we thought it all came from. I was young, I was naive, so still. And I'm 42 years old, and I have yet to touch a alcohol beverage or any kind of legal drug or anything like that. So I explained to my dad, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the man I am now. And if you learn from these videos I'm making that I am someone who takes a situation that can kind of be a negative and trying to make a positive out of it, and trying to learn from it, because it's hopefully that's what it was brought to me and in front of me for my higher power or something in the universe to have it out there in front of me to say, hey, just do the best you can and try not to do this stuff. And I still have issues. I mean, not issues, but I'm eating habits that I need to work on. I'm working out now. I'm trying to. I'll go more into detail later in episodes. That's more stuff I want to talk about. But my father's passed. Making phone calls, calling loved ones, telling what's going on. My emotions all over the place. Getting phone calls myself over and over again from the hospital. That was lovely. Hey, would you like to come see the body? If I wanted to see the body, I would be there. Hey, where would you like to? Well, he wanted to be in Knoxville for the body farm. Well, he didn't get his paperwork in time. Well, let me talk to other family members and we'll get together and see what would be the best thing and see what we can do for my dad. And we end up cremating him. I have the box. It's in there, right next to the other Tennessee stuff I have. We were big Tennessee fans, so I made sure I had some golf stuff. He liked golf. He has some golf stuff next to him, and he has some Tennessee stuff next to him, and I put a picture of us on top of it. But that's the first part of my story. My father passed. The man that I looked up to, literally looked up to. He was 6'3". He loved to tell me jokes, and I didn't use his jokes much on stage or at all because I don't know he canceled yet. There were some dirty jokes. I didn't want to be canceled yet. But he was my biggest supporter. He was very proud of me. A lot of his friends, his family, people he talked to said he was very proud of me, of the man I became. And I hope if there is a higher power and he's up there, I hope he's proud of me of what I've been going through and what I'm trying to do and help people now, because I really want to help people. The reason why I started this is because the last week I volunteered to speak at a group therapy thing that was at Time Wellness, where I went for my therapy and where they do group therapy as well. And I told my story of what happened between me with my father and Kristen, and I told them what happened. And I got positive feedback saying, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for showing me there's hope at the end when you go through something like that. They just want hope. And that's what I was that's what I gave them, is hope. And I want to continue trying to show people there's hope at the end of a tragedy, something like that. And I'll get more into details on the episodes done on what I'm doing now, what I'm doing to cope and stuff like that. But that was episode 1. This is basically the second part is going to be about Kristen, my girlfriend. I will record that and post it, but this will be on my YouTube channel. It's Eric Lones, EricLones. Also, if you don't know, I do stand-up comedy. This is the reason why I wanted to do this, because that's why I call it E's Open Mic. If you know anybody, even know any comics, they like to go to open mics. So basically, this is an open mic, basically to bring a little bit of laughter, a little bit of twist of happiness, and twist of awareness, a little twist of laughter, smiles when it comes to mental health, because laughter is the best medicine when it comes to a little bit of with depression, and doesn't help all the time, but does it help? I want to just bring them in a little bit of the fuck. I'll have to cut that off. That was a dog. Sorry. Let's make it real. It was a dog, not my dog, a neighbor's dog, running around. I don't know what he's barking at, but he's barking at something. But to back what I was saying, I will be doing this once a week. This first episode was about my dad and the situation that started there on my down spiral into depression. The next episode will be about Kristen, who happened to be my girlfriend for 5 years. That will be on the next episode. But if you are going through some stuff and you need to talk to someone, do some research, make some phone calls. That's what I did. Make some phone calls, talk to people, and get the hard work of healing started. It's going to be some hard work, but it's worth it, I promise you. You're not alone. Reach out to a therapist. Just try to figure out how to get the ball rolling. Later on in this videos, I will start posting or giving out numbers of certain places y'all can call. I'm going to do some research on that. But just try to reach out. Because everybody deserves to have a little bit of happiness in their life. And the only ones that can do that sometimes is ourselves. We can't always rely on someone else. But we can put in the hard work of going to therapy, hard work of learning how to cope with it, and making your good days outweigh your bad days. Because that's all really I wanted. Just want to be at peace again. But everybody have a wonderful day. Make it a good day. It's what day is this? Thursday in Chattanooga. It's a nice 60. It's going to be a nice 63 degrees, and that sounds like a great day to get out and do something. And I hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day. Y'all have a great day, and please watch, hit like, hit subscribe, and enjoy these videos. Let's hope we can bring a little bit of laughter to the dark sides of some stuff that we're going through, and we can get through this together. Leave comments, but everybody have a wonderful day.